Well, usabukile EKSE, inkqubo yam, inkqubo yakho, inkqubo yethu sonke, the best edutainment show in the land, making sure that you are edutained at all times, Monday to Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. The repeats are played between the hours of 7 to 8 in the morning. Other than that, ungasifumana phaa social media. Safumaneka ku-Facebook, EKSE Live, naphaa ku-Twitter, EKSE_live. Ku-YouTube, safumaneka nakhona phaa ku-EKSE at Cape Town TV. Any episodes that you have missed. Right about now, on the yellow couches via Skype, we're joined by Luvuyo Madasa, who is one of the best when it comes to working in the spaces of social transformation, social entrepreneurship, actually, youth and empowerment, and of course, spaces of transformation. He said tell us more about what they do as ReimagineSA, which sounds amazing. It's all about Abantu Abaza together and bringing Ubuntu to the rest of South Africans. Luvuyo, welcome to EKSE. Siyaphila Butwam, it's such an honor having you. Such an honor having you on the show. We're all about making sure that we educate abantu abatsha that are always watching the show, which is why we always like to bring people who are professionals and doing great in their spaces. So it's an honor for you to accept our invite. Pleasure's all mine,
and thank you for having me on the show.
Must take a little bit about ReimagineSA. For EKSE, who has never heard about ReimagineSA, what work do you guys really do?
The ReimagineSA is a public benefit organization
that
focuses on facilitating meaningful connections that allow for collaboration and allow people to come together, to work together in a space of creating sustainable livelihoods for people and planet. And we have 3 levers that we use to do this. It's political settlement. Here we are in a democracy that's now 26 plus years old, and we're talking about having this democratic freedom. What does that mean for the person who is on the ground living their day-to-day life that doesn't get to experience democracy and how it was promised? So that's one of the conversations and the points of convening people that we try to say, how do you become a more active citizen? How do you get more involved in your community? How do you identify how to engage with your counselor, solve the problems that solving, and help in delivering the things that the community needs. Then there's the aspect of emotional settlement. And that is more in the space of saying, do you recognize yourself, what you're experiencing, the traumas that you've experienced, whether it be community and various different issues that you come across as a person that may find themselves situated where you don't have as much as your neighbor? What does that mean for you, your self-image, and what you bring to the table in your day-to-day interactions? We have a variety of different workshops that help people engage with that and get a sense of what they can bring to the table when it's time for them to step up and say, I'm the leader that the community needs, I'm the leader that my organization needs, and I can solve the problems that my community and organization needs solved. And then the last bit would be the economic settlement. So how do we help people bring this idea of being a democratically free nation, this idea of needing to create inclusion and accessibility for all to celebrate this democracy that we call the Rainbow Nation and everything that we celebrate. What does it mean for you and being able to make a sustainable livelihood for yourself? So ReimagineSA has worked with a variety of different partners and stakeholders, and it's about bringing this reality to life. How do citizens living in South Africa, a country where our economy is very exclusive, how do we become active in an economy that is literally very, very exclusive of the poor and I would say, and the working class? I think it's in us starting to figure out how we ourselves can become the best version of ourselves as an individual, and then starting to look around at our community and saying, what does my community need? And as terrible as it is that there is a vast discrepancy between some communities that are very well resourced in infrastructure, resources, access to various different amenities that those communities in suburbia get to enjoy, our rural, peri-urban, and township communities unfortunately do not have access to those resources, infrastructure, and amenities that we need to become the best versions of ourselves. So the opportunity then sits with us as young people, people in those communities who are equipped to solve those problems, to actually say, how can I put together a plan, a solution, a way to work with other people to come together and start solving the problems where I live.
So
Yeah.
yes, you may be identifying that there is no running water in your community, there is no ablution facilities that are connected to people's homes. The opportunity is also for you to then say, you know,
Yeah.
I'm raising my hand to figure out how I can be the contractor, the person who does the construction in the community. What skills can I learn? What can I help my community with? How can I bring the resources where they are currently situated into the communities that I live in, so that I can solve the problem for my neighbor, myself, and my community and family.
Yeah. Is the South African economy becoming more exclusive or more inclusive?
I think that's a very difficult question. The simple answer is no, it is not becoming more inclusive.
Yeah.
What it is doing is creating a specific direction for people to move in. So people are moving from the rural communities and moving into the township environment in order to access jobs that are in the suburbia and the formal economy.
Yeah.
Now, the reality is what we do in our homes, in our communities, in our townships is an economy in and of itself. But because we've been trained, taught by society by and large, by the global community, and also by our schooling systems to say, you know what, a good job is me sitting behind a desk in front of a computer, quote unquote clean work. Me becoming a person who can be an artisan, me becoming a person who does the construction, me doing the waste removal, all these things that our communities need. We don't look at solving problems in our communities as a viable source of income, because unfortunately it's about mandisuke ezilalini ndiyokhangela umsebenzi town. Fika kwami town ngifumanisa uba andinandawo yohlala, so eyona ndawo elingene ipokoto yami yilaa ndawo ekufutshane nelokishi ethile, right? So now all of a sudden you have left your place of home looking for a job opportunity. You realize that the affordability and the housing and the spaces that you're moving in, trying to access that job opportunity, aren't in line with your earning capacity. So then you move into a township or a peri-urban environment whereby you're thinking that can help you afford. But you then quickly start seeing these very difficult aspects where a lot of your income is being spent on traveling to and from work. So this idea that you had, and you're going to make it, is quickly being a farther and further distant reality than what you thought was available to you. Now the question is, how do we start looking inward and saying, and the person that supports either the electrification, which is the current on-the-grid services. But when you start thinking about these solutions in line with environmental issues, surely we should be starting to implement off-the-grid solutions. So how do you, as a young person who's qualified to be an engineer, start learning about renewable energy solutions and become an engineer that then brings those solutions to the communities that you're looking for? Offer those services to a variety of different
I have this quick question that actually I would love to ask you. ReimagineSA seems to be promoting social entrepreneurship, the spirit of Ubuntu. Is it possible to be a social entrepreneur in South Africa and still make money? Because people want to make money, people want to make a living. At the same time, we want to serve the community through the spirit of Ubuntu. But is it possible to have the spirit of Ubuntu, social entrepreneurship, and still make profit from a business?
Simple answer to your question is no, it is not easy.
Yeah.
I don't think, well, for two reasons. One, the term social entrepreneurship in and of itself is one that needs to evolve. It's entrepreneurship. You know, entrepreneurs solve problems. We so happen to be solving problems for communities that are currently neglected by, to your point, the exclusive economy that we currently live in. So the idea is starting to say, how do we actually re-teach or re-educate people in the sense of entrepreneurship that solves problems, not entrepreneurship that's extractive. So what do I mean by that? Extractive practices start saying, I see an opportunity for me to make money in a particular community. I go there, I set my business up, but I make sure that all the money leaves that community in how I'm doing business. The idea about now having an inclusive value add approach to how you're solving solving problems as a business owner or entrepreneur, starts saying, how do I set up shop in a way that helps revitalize the community? How do I set up shop in a way that helps some of the community outreach programs to drive youth participation, youth education? How do I make sure that when I set my business up, I am partnering with the municipality, the community that I'm working with, in order to solve the problems in those communities? There's various different policies that we have in South Africa that unfortunately are always an afterthought for people that are in the space of business. So if you were to start using some of those policies, you can engage with them in a way that even helps evolve them so that they are value add to you and your business as well. And you leverage those policies to start helping you gain favor in the community, make sure that it's part of your community engagement and your marketing exercises. All these things happen after the fact. And goes back into a space of starting to say, how do we shift this mindset of profit by all means necessary at the expense of the very people who are your customers and the people you're claiming to serve as an organization?
I feel like this is a conversation that is very important because I feel like so many young people would love to be entrepreneurs, but at the same time, I feel like entrepreneurship, as you said, it's something that needs to benefit not only the person that is doing the entrepreneurship itself, but it also needs to benefit those who are run, like communities, societies. They also need to benefit if you're running a business, which is something that's very, very important. If a young person right now is currently watching and they'd like to find out more about ReimagineSA, they would like to know more about your programs, and they'd like to get involved, how do they find you guys? How do they contact ReimagineSA?
Well, we're available on our website, www.reimaginesa.com. We also do have social media platforms. You can find us on LinkedIn, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter. And we engage in a variety of different programs. And I think you can find that information out there and get to know how we could possibly partner, work with you as an organization to support efforts that you have on the ground.
Well, that sounds incredible. Thank you so much. It was an honor having you in the show. Enjoy the rest of the day. And man, have a lovely, lovely, lovely week ahead of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And you have a wonderful day too.
Thank you so much. Well, of course, Luvuyo doing great things with ReimagineSA. EKSE bring you nothing but the best of edutainment. It's not join us in the building. We're going to take a quick breather. We'll be right back with more right here on Cape Town TV.